Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's edition of Horse's Mouth Live. My name is Ellen Rogin, and as always, I have guests and information that will help you in every area of your life, especially your business. And I'm really excited to be talking with Mary Upton today, who's a financial advisor in the New Jersey area. And we're going to be talking about ways she's gotten trained and implemented other strategies in her advisory practice that I think are really important. Why is this important now more than ever? Well, the fact that AI has sped up so quickly within a matter of months, which we know there was a ramp up for that and the industry's been changing. But I think now more than ever, if you aren't going beyond the numbers with your clients, your practice is going to start to be irrelevant. I know that clients, hopefully you have really good basis of the technical knowledge you're giving and sharing with your clients. But if you don't do more and have deeper connections, there's no reason that some technology out there can't do what you're doing, maybe better, definitely less expensive. So we're going to talk about ways to do that and make an even bigger difference for your clients. So I want to give you a little bit of background on Mary. She is the founder of Synergia Financial Group, which is a financial planning firm that works with individuals and businesses in a super comfortable environment where she helps guide them on their journey. So she does financial planning and then also has a background. She's got designations in behavioral finance advice. She's a certified retirement planning counselor and certified retirement plans consultant, and has also recently completed the financial courses for financial social work. So Mary, welcome. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Ellen.
Yeah, I'm so excited to talk to you about why you've gotten some of these other designations. We can start with behavioral planning. And I'm curious, for advisors that aren't familiar, what is that? What was involved in the certification? And then also if you could share with us how you're using that with clients and how it's maybe changed your process a bit.
Sure. So first and foremost, my background is my degrees in psychology. So I didn't go the traditional route of a finance degree or anything related to finance. It was psychology and sciences, 100%. So that's kind of, I thought I was going to go more down the social work space. I love helping people and, being in the business and seeing how people operate and do things and distinguish, where they stand from a financial standpoint or a social standpoint. I really saw the importance of my degree and the background that I was, given with that degree, how people should kind of, it's okay to think differently and think outside the box. And as an advisor, I try to think outside the box during the process. So several years into being in the business, I wanted to find out, how can I do something where it can incorporate my love of working with clients, but also, the behavioral side of things. So I was introduced back in 2019 to the behavioral finance advice designation. And I, like most people, we kind of sit on the sideline and say, is it worth it? How is it going to help? So I decided and pulled the trigger and finished it up really right around the time COVID shut the world down. So I was excited to be able to kind of, take myself and my practice into a different venue of really focusing on, why do people make the decisions that they're making? And as advisors, it's not all about the money and the numbers. It's about, how do we have conversations? What do we do in a difficult situation? How do we pivot? Where do we go? And being able to have those conversations of, understanding values. That's a big, focus of what are your core values, and are you aligning your decisions in those values, and how do we make changes and modify behaviors if your values and your decisions aren't aligned? So that's kind of the backbone of, behavioral financial advice. And then more recently, I took a course through the Center for Financial Social Work which is geared towards social workers, but it really, I felt the connection of having the BFA and then taking this course through the center. It catapulted what I had as the basis for the BFA, so that it's more interactive and telling of what people can do from more of a deeper behavioral sense. So it was great coursework, and it really got me thinking of, okay, a lot of the things that they talked about, I do in my practice as it was. And it's reframing your mind and your thinking, and certain things, a lot of times we talk to our clients about, doing certain things. And if you change the way that you word it, it makes it feel a little bit more comfortable and gives people that confidence to say, oh, you know what, it's not as overwhelming. It's more of, yeah, this is just the process.
So, Mary, I have questions about this. When you were talking about the behavioral finance designation, in that training, is it training you how to be asking different questions, or are they providing a template, might not be the right word, but a way of working with your clients, or is it both? Like how are you being trained in terms of taking these ideas and implementing them when you're working with the people you work with?
So it's definitely a little bit of both. The BFA designation has you do self-work. So as you're going through the coursework and the process, you're going through the same processes that you're going to be walking your clients through. So it gives you that hands-on education and feeling, and how you can really create it to make sure that it is yours. And it helps you to then help your clients be comfortable going through the same process. So it's really, it helps both, because there's the coursework of the reading and being tested and understanding what you're learning. But you're also truly going through all of the steps that you take your clients through.
So do you explain to your clients this is your approach, or is it just you do it and they don't need to understand like how the watch is working, but they're just able to see the time on the watch? Like, are you just jump into a values discussion or helping them understand how they make decisions? Or do you say, okay, in addition to the technical things we're going to do, we're also going to have this different approach?
So I do talk to them and say, I take a different approach to the planning process, so that they understand, it's not meant to be overwhelming. And that's really my number one goal. Is I want people to feel comfortable to talk about anything. And again, while I focus on planning, I want them to be comfortable about talking about other aspects of their life, because it all melds into one another, whether it's planning or whether, it's having conversations about, health issues or whatever the case may be. It allows them that opportunity to be like, oh, you know what, it's really not that bad to talk about XYZ. So I do talk to them about how, we're gonna talk about different things before we even talk about the financial aspect of everything, because it's not, from an advisor standpoint, if I don't know what or why they are doing things, I can't really guide them in the process that far. So it allows them to look a little bit deeper and some introspection on their part. But I'm also an open book, so I try and say, okay, here's what I have done, or what I have seen, or what I have handled, so that it's not, everyone has what they think is a unique situation. And while several, things are, yes, unique to certain things, a lot of times, whether it's unique to them, it's probably not.
So Mary, I'm imagining there's an advisor out there listening to this who's been way more comfortable on the number side of things and going, well, of course, Mary could do that because she had a degree in psychology, but like I was a CPA or a finance major, like I'm not comfortable, and I don't And I could also imagine them saying, and my clients wouldn't be comfortable having those conversations to me. So if you were talking to an advisor like that, what would you say to them?
I think you'd be surprised. You know, if you're trying to help people take that anxiety out of the conversation about finances, people really open up. And I think, it's that thinking outside of the box. I didn't have in my undergrad program, we didn't have anything business related. It just wasn't available because the major was so concentrated. But again, a lot of it has been me working. I've had some great mentors throughout the years, and it's really educating myself and really putting myself into that uncomfortable situation sometimes of saying, you know what, I'm going to do it and I'm going to try it. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know, I'm not hurting anyone, but if I don't try it, I'm not going to know. And I think that's kind of the mantra that I have is you've got to try something more than once. Doing it one time and it not going the way that you expect it. Was it a fluke? Maybe, maybe not. Is it going to work the next time? Maybe, maybe not. But, just going out there and having a conversation with your clients. I think a lot of times, again, as advisors, and we've all seen it, if you don't have that conversation, they don't know that you're able to help in a different way. And I think that's part of the process.
So can you give an example of a simple question or discovery type of approach you would take that someone might be able to try without, they don't have necessarily all the credentialing and study that you have behind it, but an advisor might dip their toe in the water and have a little bit deeper conversation with the client? Is there like one of your favorite questions or things that you discuss with people that they might be able to try?
Sure. So usually when I'm starting off a meeting, we go through the basic introductions of, who they are, who I am. I do share my background because I think it's really important that they do know, like we're people first. We're human beings. But then I really like to understand like what are they looking for? What is their goal of the meeting? Is it to just get ideas? Is it to lay out and say, well, here's what I have and I don't understand everything. So, kind of putting the ball in their court and giving them the way to kind of start the meeting, it really helps to get it going where, sometimes, some people it's hard to break into and get below, the surface. But, finding out what their goals are, just of that meeting or just, one thing is really helpful. And it breaks the ice because then it allows us to go in whatever direction the conversation should go in.
Is there a way that you create a safe space or a way for them to keep talking? Like, do you have a follow-up question? Like, tell me more, or is it maybe less specific to that, how your office is set up to make people safe to do that? Are there any, I imagine that maybe there's things you're not even conscious that you're doing. So I'm going to ask you to be a little bit thinking about if someone were a fly on the wall watching you run a discovery meeting or a meeting with a client, how you might be creating this safe space for them.
I think for me, I'm very lucky that I can connect with people easily because I'm not rigid. I'm very much this is how it's going to flow however it flows. And I kind of, again, lay that groundwork out there. So, kind of taking that step back and putting it back on me of what do I do or how do I do it and keep the conversation going. Obviously, if it's a couple, I make sure that both people are heard because I think that's really important. And again, eye contact is one of the most important things that we can do because it shows the person that we're sitting across from, hey, I'm connecting with you and there's nothing that I'm hiding. I also, again, going back to telling people I've probably heard it all. And if I haven't, One of the things that I was told by a mentor years and years ago is you have to have a poker face. You never know what's going to come out of someone's mouth. And regardless of what comes out of their mouth, you have to be able to maintain your demeanor, and so that they're comfortable. But I think a lot of times, the questions just flow, or it might go in one direction, and then I kind of circle it back to say, okay, well, let's finish talking about this aspect. I literally use a blank piece of paper, and I tell that before we even start the meeting, like, it is a blank sheet of paper. If I forget something, I'm going to go back, or whatever it is, just so that they know, again, we're human. I don't like to follow, do this first and then that first and then that first, and that next. So it's a matter of really following their lead.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that obviously talking to both people, but it's not obvious because I'm still hearing over and over from people that there's one party, it's often the woman, but not always, who's not feeling paid attention to during that meeting, even though you'd think, oh my God, how much longer are we going to talk about this? That one person's not, and it could also be that one of the people in the relationship is just more comfortable with the money thing, and the other person's kind of comfortable letting them handle it. So the fact that you're trying to draw out that other participant is also crucial in this.
Right, exactly. And a lot of times, people don't talk about things. They'll talk about what their kids are doing, or what they have for work, or things that are more superficial, but really talking about planning, a lot of times, the spouses or even business partners, they don't know what the other one really wants. And then for me kind of being in the middle and saying, okay, so you're saying this and you're saying that, nothing's set in stone, and nothing is concrete, and a rule that says, well, you know what, if you want to do this, you do this. If you want to do that, you do that. Because as long as people are comfortable with that whole process, that's really what we should be focusing on.
Yeah, and I think that there's a lot of rigidity that comes in to play. I was reminded as we're talking, I had lunch yesterday with a friend of mine who I hadn't seen in a while. And instead of asking me, like, what have you been doing or what have you been up to? She said, what's been on your mind lately? And I thought, well, and the conversation went way deeper, so much more quickly. I was all set to tell her like what I've been doing. And it seems to me that that would be a really great way to get into a conversation with a client, especially with what's been going on. Like, what has been on your mind lately?
Right.
And yeah. So when talk a little bit more about, so you had this behavioral finance designation, and then just more recently you went for the financial social work. Like, why another designation? Why did you feel like this was something else that would be helpful for you working with your clients or your practice or you personally?
Right. So the second certification that I went through, I can't use it for compliance reasons, but I really wanted to get a deeper understanding and knowledge to really help catapult what was the basics of the behavioral financial advice designation. And for me, it was really, I'm a learner. I love learning new things. And I think, if we become stagnant, it's not good. For me, it's not good. So I really enjoyed the opportunity to be able to take this course that really dove deeper into the process, more so than the BFA designation. And it was also a great way for me to network. I'm able to now network with other professionals that are on the social work side, to kind of hear how they're utilizing it in their business, because there's certain things I can't do. And, same thing for them, but it really gave me more of an understanding and a validation of what I've been doing is out there for other professionals to use in other areas of, everyone's lives.
Yeah. And well, so first of all, I want to just say how great that you're an ongoing learner. And what I'm also really appreciating, Mary, is you're learning about things. I know you spend time sharpening the saw technically, like that is a given that if clients are looking for you to be smart technically, like they just assume you are, and that advisors need to keep that up. What I see over and over is sometimes advisors spend too much of their time on the technical side of things versus on their relationship management or self-management, which from my experience when I had my own practice was the thing that really moved the needle in my business. So let's switch it now from how your clients appreciate it, but like, how do you think that's helped you grow your business or helped you as a professional to just have these other skills?
Right. Well, I think again, yeah, the technical knowledge is there. We all have the exams we have to take, we all have the continuing ed we have to do. And from years ago when I started in the business to now, I mean, things have evolved tremendously. And going back to the whole AI, you know, conversation, yeah, people can go anywhere basically and get whatever information they need or do it themselves. But for those of us that are in the space of really wanting to help people, differentiating ourselves from the standpoint of all of the technical knowledge to really being able to have a human conversation of, you know what, I get it, your situation, this is real for you, and having that validation for them to know and understand and hear, like, I get it, and it's not, again, the technical information it's at everyone's fingertips at this point. Years ago you had to use a broker to do everything, and now, it's not always necessary. But really, getting people to have that introspection and really focus on them and the importance of what they're doing is benefiting them for the long run, whatever the case may be.
And I know, because I know you and your practice, that there's also been, you get a fair amount of referrals from therapists and social workers. And I would imagine, because my experience, I had some as clients when I had my practice, they weren't always the most comfortable with money stuff. And the fact they know you and how you are in the fact, and that you make these interpersonal skills so important, I imagine have them feeling more comfortable referring people to you. Is that right?
Yeah, it's definitely, I do work with a lot of social workers themselves. um I'm comfortable talking to them. That was the route I was planning on going. But again, it's really, social workers go into their profession thinking that they're not going to make money or that it's not okay to make money. And I kind of spin it back a little bit and say, you know what, you're doing a great job and you're doing a service that's really hard and challenging and exhausting, mentally and in return physically at times because of the mental load. So, having that understanding of it's okay, like it's okay to make money, whatever profession you're in. If you're providing a service or you're doing a good job, you should be compensated and you should be able to, say, yeah, I did good for myself. So yeah, so being able to, to work directly with them from a planning standpoint, but also, them knowing how I operate to be able to refer to me, it's a win-win situation because, again, from a client standpoint, if the client wants them to be there, let them be there. I don't mind. I have nothing to hide. They know how I operate. So it's making sure that, everyone in the room is comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. And it also is occurring to me when you're talking to centers of influence. I know you do a lot of networking. You're also able to say why talk about why what you do is different than the other advisor or the other 20 advisors down the street from you. Is that part of what you do in your networking?
Yeah, that's part of what I do. And again, listen, there's enough to go around for everyone. And I have to say, some of my, closest friends are advisors, because I think we have that camaraderie of we know what we're going through, we know what we have to deal with, from start to finish. But I really try and differentiate myself in that regards because it is different than, an advisor that's only doing XYZ. It's not the same as, it's they're not walking into a room and getting cookie cutter information.
Right.
Everything that I do, while there's a lot of similarities, it's totally client driven.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell my clients, regardless of what it is that they need, we'll make it happen as long as we can.
Well, I know you have a very generous spirit, and that you always put your clients' needs first, and the fact that you're getting trained in areas that are less directly focused on the financial services, but are important, I think is very admirable. So I appreciate you coming on today and talking with us about this, Mary. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah. And if people want to connect with you on LinkedIn or go to your website, like what's the best way if people just want to network with you or find out more about what you do, Mary?
They can connect with me on LinkedIn. They can check out my website. They can email me. Um, however they want to be, however they want to contact me, they can contact me. And again, I'm always open to having conversation. If someone needs guidance in regards to, where they see themselves going, I love helping people really find their space in their way.
Cool. Yes. And I know that about you for sure. So thank you so much for being there. And thank all of you who are watching or listening today. Again, my name is Ellen Rogin. And you can find out more about me if you go to ellenrogan.com/horse's mouth. You can download my special report, What Extraordinary Advisors Know That Others Don't. You can certainly connect with me on LinkedIn. I have courses going and other ways that I work with advisors to help them be awesome in these ways that I think are so important now. Relationship skills, self-management skills that can absolutely help you break through to the next plateau in your business and serve your clients in a deeper way. So the question to ponder today is, how are you going to serve your clients in an even deeper way? And remember, be great and create great every single day.